Good afternoon, grinders. This is your MLB SimLabs analysis for Tuesday, May 6th. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka BlenderHD. If you want to follow me on Twitter, hit that thumbs up button. You know how much I like the thummy thumbs. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and hit the notification bell to know when we go live. Remember, Grinders live later today on the channel, followed by Crunch Time, and you probably need to tune into Crunch Time for Kevin Roth's weather update. We have some issues in Colorado today. I guess New York as well, a little bit. Roth has rain holding about 10 miles west of that game. He has it at yellow, but definitely tune in to make sure that game should play. It's a low total. It's a low total game anyway, but we have some pitching options there. And then Detroit at Colorado. They have rain in the area. He has it as orange. Maybe closer to orange red, but you don't know. You never know in Colorado. A lot of times, it's scattered. The storms are always scattered around. A lot of times they do get the game in, but Roth will have the radar update closer to lock when we talk about the Detroit Colorado game, which has a pretty decent total. Which in comparison for the rest of the slate, I'm looking around. I mean, there's a lot of low totals for a 12-game slate. This is a big slate today. A lot of sub-4 totals. Not that many high-ish totals. We got the Braves at a 5 total. Minnesota, 4.84. Kansas City, 5.17. Detroit, obviously in Colorado, 5.41. A lot of the offenses in the later games, right? And like Blue Jays, Angels, Mets, Diamondbacks, Mariners, A's. Because we got some pretty decent pitching options on today's slate. Going over to SimLabs, looking at optimal versus projected ownership for the starting pitchers today. Based on our projected ownership, I mean, it's pretty efficient. It's pretty efficient here. We see, Michael King a little bit under-owned, Zach Gallen a little bit over-owned, but like 3-4 percentage points. And like the top pitching on the slate is pretty straightforward. There's 3 that stand out way above the pack, and that is Zach Wheeler, Paul Skeens, and Chris Sale. Our highest raw point median projected pitcher is Chris Sale at 8,800 at a 21.57. Then Zach Wheeler 20.72, and then Skeens at 19.48. All 3 of them have an optimal rate over 27%, which is like double all the other pitch. The next couple of pitchers, and then there's a lot of pitchers that have 2 to 3% chance of being optimal. So Zach Wheeler is our highest optimal rate pitcher today, 34%. Paul Skeens 29%. Chris Sale 27%. They obviously all have the highest upside. They have the highest strikeout props on the board. And then we get like Michael King at 9,500. He's 14% chance of being optimal. Pablo Lopez, 9K, 13% chance. And Seth Lugo, 8,700, 12% chance of being optimal. And that's why, like Michael King, we see like Michael King, 4% under-owned, but his optimal rate is 14%, and we have his projected ownership as 10. So it's not that dramatic. And the same thing for like, Lugo, -3. So basically we have his optimal rate at 12%. We have his projected owned at 15.5%. So about the same. So nothing really stands that much out pitching wise, where, there's someone that is highly under-owned or highly over-owned today. There's a bunch of value on today's slate, even if there's some cheaper stacks, obviously. We'll talk about that in a second. But you could always throw in 1 or 2, very cheap one-offs, 2K level players. So getting in 2 of Wheeler, Skeens, Sale shouldn't be that much of a problem today. I'd be more inclined, especially on a 12-game slate. We have some offenses to choose from. I'd be sticking to those 3. I mean, do you have to play 2 of them together? I guess you don't have to, but this seems like the type of slate that, if 2 out of 3 of this top level, Wheeler, Skeens, Sale, go for 25 plus points, if you're gonna need like 50 55 points out of your pitching slots today, it's going to be hard to find, elsewhere. And, especially in the bottom level with like Hancock and Colin Ray and Chad Patrick and who else is here? Clark Schmidt. I mean, some of them are like cheap, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you necessarily need to go that cheap at pitcher today. So I'd be sticking with the Wheelers. I'd probably rank them. Probably. I think actually Sale 1 maybe, right? Cincinnati has a 3.37 total. Tampa Bay has a 3.86 total, and St. Louis has a 3.5 total. So they're all under 4. But from a price perspective, Sale at 8,800, I'd rank 1. Wheeler at 9,700, I'd rank 2. And Skeens at 10K, I'd rank 3. Let's take a look at the MLB Stacks tool. Was part of our premium package here, right? You got the 12-game slate, so got 24 teams. I mean, it may end up being 22 teams. Remember, tune into crunch time to get the radar update on that Detroit-Colorado game, unless they manage to postpone it even before then. Top stacks on the slate. We got Atlanta, we got Minnesota, we got Kansas City, we got Detroit, and we don't have to worry about Detroit if they don't play. Because that is one of the later games. I mean, 8:40 p.m. Eastern, so it's not like the last 3, but it's like in the middle there. Maybe Detroit comes in a little lower owned if there's some doubt that game plays. But the Detroit stack, I know they have the highest total. They're in Colorado, but I mean they're pretty damn expensive. I mean the Tigers are not a vomit stack anymore, and you can say the same thing with the Braves against Andrew Abbott. So we have them as 12% optimal as a stack, but the value is not all that strong as far as price is concerned. Like if you're going to play a Wheeler Sale lineup, it's going to be pretty damn tough to play a 5-man Brave stack. I mean, yeah, you could throw in some 2K guys, but it will be difficult. I think that the 2 highest owned stacks on the slate, we see here, they're also 2 of the higher optimal stacks. It's going to be the Twins and the Royals. We take a look at their starting lineups for the Twins and the Royals. So like Royce Lewis is back. He's 4,600, but like this bottom half of the Twins order are pretty damn cheap. And Ryan Jeffers is, if he bats second at 3,700 at catcher, he's probably be one of the chalky catchers on today's slate. But I mean, you could play a Ty France, a Brooks Lee, a Willie Castro, a Harrison Bader. Maybe not Christian Vasquez, but like you could fit in a Minnesota stack even with Buxton. Correa is only 3,200, so you could play a Buxton, Jeffers, Correa, Lewis, France lineup like no problem, even with like Wheeler and Sale. So that should be popular. I mean, they have one of the higher totals on the slate, 4.84, and then the Royals, same thing as we've seen the past week or two. Outside of Bobby Witt, they're dirt cheap. Right, Jonathan India, 3,100. Pascantino, 3,400. Sal Perez is now under 4K. You got, a Massey, Renfroe, Waters, Isbell, whoever, maybe not Isbell, but, you could play any of these guys. I know Renfroe wasn't in the order yesterday, but he's 2K. I mean, he's probably home run or bust at this point. But it's very easy to fit the Royals in today against Sean Burke and the Chicago White Sox, and they have a 5.17 total. And then Atlanta, similar total, but we go to the Braves, and it's not like absurdly expensive. Like no one's over 5K, but Albies 4,700, Riley 4,800, Ozuna 4,500, Olsen 4,600, Murphy 4,600, and then you get some cheapy guys. Harris is there, Stuart Fairchild in a platoon split at 2K. Not like awful. I mean, we have him at 6% owned, so it's not like he's that off the board. So you can fit in Braves, but it's going to be tough. You'd have to play like a Fairchild and then also play, some like, one of the Royals or Twins guys. So some of these combinations may be a little chalky. I mean, for a 12-game slate, I mean, we take a look at the, the top stacks tool. And, after these teams, you get like Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, San Diego, I mean, some of these, we get into the 4% optimal, 3% optimal. Like half the slate is kind of like low chances of being optimal. So I mean, but if you're gonna be playing like Wheeler, Sale, Minnesota, like I think that's gonna be a pretty damn chalky combination. So let's go to SimLabs and run 150 lineups. I'm gonna do it for large field today. Large field lineups, and let's see, 5-man stacks, and let's see what comes up. This is how I do research. Just because I'm putting in 150 lineups doesn't mean I have to play 150 lineups, right? If you're playing 20 lineups today, doesn't mean you just run 20 lineups. You can run as many lineups, many combinations. You could lock team stacks. You could exclude team stacks. You could lock a player in. You may say, I'm playing 20 lineups and I'm playing Chris Sale in every single lineup. Well, just lock in Chris Sale and just choose from the Chris Sale lineups. And you could also do it that I just want to see Chris Sale lineups and then save the Chris Sale lineups. And then you want to see the lineups that don't have Chris Sale. And then you exclude him and you pick the lineups that you want to play out of those, right? You could do the same thing for stacks, right? So a lot of times if I'm playing like 3 lineups on a given day, I may look and go, okay, I'm going to play a Twins lineup. So I just lock in the Twins and then see what lineups rate out well. And then maybe plenty of them. I pick the one that I want the most. I like the most, right? And save that or save a couple of them and look at them later. And then go, okay, I want to play a Brave stack. What do these Brave stacks lineups look like? And then run those. And then you could save them across the board in the save lineup section. You could sync with lineup HQ, right? If you're using our premium tools, right? You could then download via CSV. You can do anything you want. You can do this throughout the day, but I'm going to run 150 just to see what shows up. I'm assuming we're going to get a lot of Wheeler, a lot of Sale, a lot of some Skeens, then a lot of Twins, Royals, Braves. Maybe not as much Braves, but I think Twins and Royals. Sometimes it surprises me. And let's see what cheap pitchers. Maybe do we get a Michael King, a Seth Lugo? Because these guys aren't cheap. Like, what's the cheap pitchers we get? Jackson Jobe? I mean, obviously, if the Colorado game doesn't play, it's not going to matter. Wisniewski? I mean, because there's going to be a lot of pitchers today that are like 3 to 5% owned, or even less. I take a look at some of these strikeout props. It doesn't look all that appealing. I mean, Cards has Liberator tagged in lineup HQ against Pittsburgh. I think I'd much rather play Pittsburgh than Liberator. That's based on the stats tool. So let's see. It's running a little slow today. Of course, whenever I'm recording this in the afternoon, we get the SimLabs updates. So sometimes it ends up being a little slow because we update SimLabs like, God, I don't know, 10 times, 15 times a day as our projections get updated. Player projections, ownership projections. We rerun our 10,000 plus sims based on the contest fields, especially if you're running like large field, higher results ranges, right? May take a couple of seconds more. A lot of times it just takes like 3-4 seconds to run. But even then, what you just saw here wasn't like egregiously a lot. But this will get updated like multiple times. From like 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern, you'll get SimLabs updates like seemingly every 10 or 15 minutes. So let's go to exposures. Let's see what we got here. We got a lot of Zach Wheeler. Yeah, I mean, look, the usual suspects. Wheeler, Skeens, Sale. 53%, 41-40, right? And then some Michael King. He's a little bit underowned. And then, yeah, I'd say Wisniewski. There you go. If you're going to play a cheaper pitcher, maybe Wisniewski is and we can still get some Liberator. We still get some. But I mean, it's kind of a little mix of just like random pitchers thrown in. So yeah, so maybe is Wisniewski the 7,200? Is that the cheapo pitcher? Maybe we're more likely to play. Yeah, I mean, Houston only has a 3.86. Oh no, well, Milwaukee has a 4.14 total. So not absurd. Let's take a look at the teams. Yeah, look, Twins, tons of Twins. Twins and the Royals, and then we get some Baltimore in there against Minnesota. I mean, it's kind of like just spread out, right? Like Orioles, Braves, Athletics, Giants, Tigers, Bears. Oh my! Angels, Astros, Whites. I mean, just random stuff, but a lot of Twins. A lot of Twins today. Because we even look at the players. We go to all players. We got a lot of Byron Buxton. Right. Byron Buxton, Ryan Jeffers, Royce Lewis, Brooks Lee, Willie Castro, right? Because they have multiple positional eligibility. So Byron Buxton is going to be pretty damn chalky today in the outfield slot, even at 5K. Yeah, because we haven't projected for 11.3 as a mean, especially if he leads off for the Twins, gets a little extra plate appearance expectation. Maybe you don't play Buxton as a one-off with the Twin stacks being so chalky today. But then we also get Kansas City here. Like this is the way to play. I mean, look at this lineup. We get a 5-3 lineup, perfectly correlated. Skeens, Wesneski, and then you play the Royal stack, which is cheap. India, Renfroe, Witt, Pasquantino, Perez, and then you're able to play 3 Braves: Albies, Riley, and Ozuna. I mean, you're playing 3 very good Braves. This is definitely doable, and Wesneski's not going to be that owned. We have him 8% owned, if that 7-8% owned. How much upside does Wesneski have? That's questionable, but. And if you didn't want to play Skeens in this lineup, I mean, can you play Will? I mean, I think one of the reasons why Skeens is in this lineup is because I think the Royals are going to be pretty owned and the Braves are going to be pretty owned. I mean, that to me, those are the 3 chalk teams on the slate: the Twins, the Royals, and the Braves. But this lineup rates out very well for large field contests. Right? We go. Here's another Twin stack, another Twin stack. Right? And you even get a Tiger in here. Wheeler, Sale. Look. Wheeler, Sale lineup, and you get some Twins. This Twins lineup has Christian Vasquez in it at 2,300. Here's a Skeens Verlander lineup. Do we want to play Verlander in the year 2025 against Chicago? I mean, I guess. I mean, he can give us 5 strikeouts, right? I guess at Chicago. Right, some Giants in here and some Pirates. Here's a Twins lineup with Braves. Right. Skeens, Lugo, Jeffers, France, Castro, Correa, Buxton. Then you're playing like bottom of the order, kind of Michael Harris, Eli White, Austin Riley. A little bit different. You could sort through all these lineups. I mean, like just a lot of Twins. There's a Twins Astro stack with Wheeler and King. There's another Wheeler and King lineup. Get Marte in there as a one-off. There are all these like 3K, 2K, 3K kind of outfield guys. That's why it's kind of easy to play like 2 of like Wheeler, Skeen, Sale. Like you could spend on pitching today. And all these lines. I mean, look. I mean, I'm just scrolling all 90s, 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 all this type of stuff. So the Twins today. So I could go in. I could go, okay, like let's say I don't play the Twins. Right, so I want to look for a lineup that doesn't have Twins, exclude the team stack. And I'm also going to exclude Byron Buxton as a one-off, so I could do that also. So maybe I've chosen all my Twins lineups that I want to play. It's like, okay, now I want to look at the non-Twins lineups. Non-Twins lineups that don't have Byron Buxton in it. Right? What do some of them look? What do they look like? So I put in 20. I go, let me see. That's really the key. You can put in like virtually anyone that's available to play on the slate. You could play in a plus EV lineup. Just depends on what the rest of the lineup looks like. From a projection standpoint, correlation standpoint, and a leverage standpoint. And you can choose whichever lineups that you want to play. So I'm going to see what these non-Twins, non-Buxton lineups look like. I'm assuming I'm just going to get a lot of. I'm assuming it's going to be Royals and Braves. That's what it seems like. And you can make the executive decision to lock in. It's like, I'm playing Zach Wheeler no matter what today. You could just lock him in. You could set up whatever configuration you want here, and it'll show you the lineups that are in our simulations, what the SimLabs rating for it is. And, if you put in a combination, some type of, I don't want this, I want that, blah, 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 blah. And SimLabs just shows you, here's some lineups that are rated horribly. probably telling you something. It's telling you that that combination of what you're looking for, probably not good. So you could even use it as a tool for that. For like, oh, I hand built this lineup. Let me put it in. Let me put out this lineup, that lineup, this lineup. And a SimLabs, oh, that's 78. It's like, okay, that's not bad. It's pretty damn good. And you put it in at another one, and it's like, it just basically vomits at you and shows you all these red bars. 8, 12. And you go, okay, it's probably not a good lineup. Right, yeah, I mean, the first lineup that comes up is the Skeens-Wesneski lineup that we were looking at before. Here's a Zach Wheeler, Jackson Joe Brave stack. With Carlos Correa as a one-off and 2 Tigers. Obviously, don't play the Tigers if the Colorado doesn't play today. But I think that will lower the owner. If we don't have news about that by 7:05 p.m. Eastern, I definitely think, especially with their prices, the Tigers are not cheap. The Tigers will, I think they will be under-owned. So maybe take a shot. If it gets postponed or something, or late start, and they just never play, then whatever. I think the ownership on the Tigers as we get less and less news closer to lock, I think their ownership will come down a bit. But they are pricey, so it's not like they're going to be super duper chalk. So here's the Braves lineup. Here's the Braves Wheeler Lugo lineup with the Braves. A Royals lineup with Skeens and King. Here's a Tigers stack with Wheeler and Wesneski. There's a Chad Patrick lineup. Cedric Mullins is a one-off. Right? There's tons of configurations here. Here's a Giants stack. A Giants Braves lineup with Skeens and Lugo. The reason you can't do this, the Giants are going to be like not owned at all. They're 3.62. What about the Giants? The Giants 4% chance of being optimal. We have the Giants. Basically this little group here in the middle, you see on the stacks page, are going to be slightly under-owned. The Pirates, the Phillies, the Padres, the Orioles, the Giants. And they're only a little bit less than like the Tigers' chances of being optimal. The Tigers are 8.65%. These are like 4 to 6%. But maybe much less owned. Much less owned. So for large field contests, maybe take more of a shot on them. If I was mixing in 20 lineups, I'd have a Pirate stack. I'd have a Philly stack. I'd have Padres, Baltimore, the Giants, the Mets even against Zach Gallen. Those are a little off the board. But the main culprits today, Braves, the Twins, the Royals, and I guess the Tigers, assuming that game plays. And you could run that all through SimLabs, our premium simulation tool that you could get as part of the Combo Light package here at RotoGrinders. You get full access to SimLabs for MLB, NBA, NFL, and PGA. You get access to our research tools like Plate IQ and Weather Edge, as well as access to all of our premium written content for the 4 major sports, which includes Cheese's Goods, $1 million musings that you should read today. He writes God knows how many words about every slate on the weekdays. Fantasy Baseball Hall of Famer. So check that out, and definitely check out Crunch Time later today on the channel for Kevin Roth's radar update, especially for that Colorado game and New York and the Padres-Yankees game, I guess, a little bit. And on your way out the door, hit that thummy thumb button. Give me those thummy thumbs. They cost nothing. So just hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to always know when we go live on the channel. I'll be back tomorrow for another MLB SimLabs update and analysis here on RotoGrinders.com.